Hey everyone, and on this game chat, we're talking all about Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S on Nintendo Switch 2. So Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S is a follow-up to Puyo Puyo Tetris. And in this game, you have Puyo Puyo and you have Tetris, and it's merged together. This is an enhanced dimension of puzzle challenge when the worlds kind of collide. And so you can just play Puyo Puyo if you want, or you can just play Tetris if you want. But then you can also play Tetris against Puyo Puyo, or vice versa. Or you can play other modes where they merge them together. And sometimes you have bricks falling, and sometimes you have Puyo falling, and you have to go back and forth. There's an adventure mode where you challenge different people along the way and gather different people to your party and all this stuff in an actual story mode. But then you also have opportunities to play in versus modes and skill battles and games, like I said, where it swaps back and forth between the two games. You can do a party mode where it throws a lot of different items and things at you as well. A fusion mode where it's like together. And one of the cool things, maybe cool, that they've incorporated with the Switch 2 version of this game is that you can now play two players together on the same board. And so your bricks or your Puyo are interacting with each other. So if you're right side by side, you can't go left or right without them getting out of your way. And then also there is mouse control with the Switch 2 as well, if you want to use the Joy-Con in mouse mode. So lots of fun things with Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S. Barry, what's your experience been like so far?
Yeah, so I love Puyo Puyo. I was introduced to it actually on the Super Nintendo as Kirby's Avalanche, and I fell in love with it there. And my favorite Virtual Boy game is actually Panic Bomber, which is just Puyo Puyo, but Bomberman skin. I've always loved Tetris, so this is one of those games that when the first one came out, I wanted to play it, but I just didn't find the time. And when the second one came out, again, I just didn't find the time. So when we got review codes for this, I'm like, this is perfect. Now I have a reason, to really sit down and give this a shot. And I'm glad I did. I think the gameplay is a lot of fun. I mean, if you know Tetris and you know Puyo Puyo, you already know the basic gameplay, and it plays exceptionally well. With the one exception is that I couldn't, except for one time, one mode, I couldn't just instantly drop the Puyo Puyos straight down like the Tetris blocks or the Tetraminos. And I just wish I could. It's so minor. It's so minor. But especially in a competitive game, because you're always playing against an opponent or the time, that precious seconds, they do add up. But again, that's a minor thing. I love single player games, so I went right into the adventure. I'm like, let's do this. And by World 1-6, I think it was, I just skipped the cutscenes. I was watching every cutscene for the story, and I swear it was 10 minutes of cutscenes every level for a 3-minute game of Puyo Puyo or Tetris. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just don't care. I just found myself not caring about any of the characters. It's an interesting premise with the worlds colliding, and I like things like that. But they just go on and on and on and on. I get it, there's a sequel, so I didn't play the first one. They're like, oh, you're familiar. I don't know who you are. Let's play a game of Puyo Puyo or Tetris, and maybe that will jog my memory. And it's like, oh, yeah, you beating the crap out of me at Tetris just suddenly jogged my memory. I remember who you are now. I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
So I just went through the story and, got to different maps. I think I got to chapter 5 and one thing I noticed was the boss battles, where you get a team of 3 with special moves, and even if you fail, you get experience and you level them up. And you can choose which team you want. And I'm like, that's really interesting and fun. Until I realized I had 80 HP and they had 250. And no matter what I was doing, they would just do one move and killed me in one shot. I would go from full health to dead in one shot. And I'm like, that's not fun.
Mm.
Thankfully, there is a skip battle option, which you do that and it treats it as if you beat it. You don't get any of the stars because every level has 3 stars, 3 objectives. But you can continue the story and you get all the unlocks. So if it was a character you get to unlock, you unlock the character. I appreciated that. I really did. I wish more games kind of had that because if that wasn't there, I would have quit the story at that point because I'm like, I hit a wall, I'm moving on. This allowed me to pass the wall and continue. So I like that they give you the option. Again, you don't get the star rewards and they make you go back, but I don't, if I'm going back for that, sure. But I just kind of wanted to go through as much of the story as I could to see what was there and at least see what kind of challenges. And what's interesting is when you beat a world, like challenges in that world will then open up. So I like that there were new bonus challenge matches that opened up that you could play. So the content is huge.
Mhm.
We did the mode where it constantly swaps between Tetris and Puyo Puyo. I thought that was fun. The mode where you're both, this is the new mode. This is only in 2S. So it's PlayStation or the Switch 1 version. It's not there where you're both playing together. I played that with my wife, both Tetris and Puyo Puyo, and it was kind of crazy. So the way it works is you have two blocks or two Puyos at the same time. You can't go past each other, but one could look lower and go under. Uh, but if like you're right in your spot like Tetris, you drop your Tetramino instantly. You don't get your next piece until they do their move. So it does wait. And even if your piece goes in and it completes a line, the line doesn't disappear until they've dropped. So you have to keep that in mind. It's almost like turn-based Tetris, if
Mhm.
you will. You also share in Tetris the reserve that you can hold a block. You share that. So you need communication. Like with my wife, it was like pretty much, she was like, you take care of that. You play with the hold. I'm not going to touch it. So if you don't have that, you can have some interesting antics with swapping
Yeah.
out and trying for different pieces. But again, that's fun mode. I never thought of that of ever being an option, but it's cool that it's there, and you could do that in multiple different modes. And then we did online. Steve and I played some games online, and I'm happy to say I had no issues, at least with the performance. We were able to play. We played versus. We played a Tetris Puyo Puyo versus. We did 3 rounds of that. That was fine. And then we did the party mode where the party is timed and there's different icons that feel like power-ups or weapons, and you have to make a match that includes that to send it over. Things like drop speed goes up, a spotlight where your opponent's screen goes dark and there's just a spotlight that swings, things where your own attack goes up so you do more damage, just a lot of crazy stuff. But we did notice when we did play, like I was playing Puyo Puyo, Steve was playing Tetris, and I was sending things to him left and right. I was just hammering him, and in the end of the time, he beat me by almost 3 times my score. So I don't know if he was playing Tetris. I don't know if like Tetris score is bigger than Puyo Puyo because I stopped going for combos. My main goal was I'm going to try to get these items and see what they do and send them
Mm.
over there. So that may not always be the best strategy in that game because it's all about score. So it's interesting to see how it works and the dynamics. And then we tried Game Share. We did the game where you're both playing together in the same screen via Game Share. And it worked. Steve and I had very similar play styles, so a lot of times we did bump because we were both trying to do our own thing, and that created some challenge.
Mhm.
But through Game Share, and again, Game Share is if it acted like I didn't have the game and I was playing Steve's via streaming, and we are not local. So this is Colorado to New Jersey, so it's across the country. There was a little bit of lag. It wasn't terrible. It did cause some mishaps,
Mhm.
but it was there. And I just want to say it wasn't there in the online, it was there in the Game Share. However, if that's your only option to do it, I think it's fantastic that it's even an option at all, considering we're across the country, and it's just like, hey, you want to play Puyo Puyo Tetris? You don't own the game, and and all the modes were available. It wasn't like you can only do like one mode; like everything was available. The other thing before I pass it to Steve, I did want to mention is the online lobbies are very weird. You have to create a lobby per game mode. So if you're doing versus and you're having fun, say, hey, let's switch to party, or let's switch to the mode where it swaps between Tetris and Puyo Puyo. You can't just do that. You got to cancel. One person has to go in, create the lobby, then they have to join, then you can play. So that is a little clunky. And when we were playing, there was nobody else online. Though at least no other rooms have ever showed up. So it was just us. So keep that in mind that it doesn't seem like, at least right now, there's any online community, but it does work So just make sure that you have friends that want to play, because otherwise you might be searching for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was very pleased with what we did online, but several times I've gone into Puzzle League, and which is the ranked battles, and several other modes to try to see if I could find people that are playing to join in, knowing that I'd probably get destroyed by people that are playing, but still wanting to have that experience. And I wasn't until we created our own lobby before I've gotten to play online. Even going into the replays, so you can save your footage, which is kind of cool. And if that was a really good run, you can save your footage and you can go back and watch your replay. But you can also upload your replay. Two replays online right now. That's all I've seen in that. So if you go in the replays mode, 2 replays show up for other people that have even uploaded the replays. So the online kind of seems a little dead right now, unfortunately. But in general, I'm enjoying what the game is. I definitely am more of a Tetris fan. Played that ever since it originally came out on the Game Boy, and been playing a ton of Tetris over my life. So when it comes to Tetris or Puyo, I lean Tetris, but I'm getting to like Puyo Puyo a lot more. However, I've also realized I like it a lot more when I'm not playing against someone else, because it makes it so much more hectic when you're trying to figure out, okay, where does this little Puyo needs to go? And shoot, all of a sudden I got bricks dropping on me and messing up my entire plan. And we talked about when we were playing online, the different bricks or blocks and everything will fall differently depending on which game you're playing. So in Tetris, if you get things thrown over to you, it comes from the bottom and pushes you up. Where on Puyo Puyo, it drops from the top, which is a completely, it's already a different game, but it completely changes your strategies and all those different things when those things are happening from the people you're playing against. So that definitely changes things up. But like you, I couldn't care less about the story mode at all. I was intrigued for even less time than you. I think I made it through 2 levels, and then I just kept skipping through it. Yeah, it's fun, but way too much dialogue. It doesn't matter. This is a puzzle game. Let's just move forward with what's going on. Oh, you met someone else? Cool. Let's play. That's really all it needs to be. But I guess for people that enjoy it, there's plenty of story there for you to read. But I play this game to play puzzle games, not to read storylines.
We don't even have to read. This is actually fully voice acted.
That is
too,
true. It is.
This is incredible that it is.
That's a good point. I've skipped so much of it that I forgot that it was voice acted. But from what I remember, it's solid. I'm glad that they put the effort in, but I don't care. One of the things that, in addition to the 2-player mode where you're playing together, which is fun, it definitely is a challenge. It's a lot better playing with a human partner like Barry than it was with a CPU partner, because I couldn't tell my CPU, like, no, don't go there, get out of my way, no, I'm holding, oh, this is stupid, and we lost. But with Barry, we actually did well, and we won a couple games. And so, yeah, it's definitely it's a team building kind of thing. If you're going to learn from each other and you got to communicate well, and yeah, if your play style is similar but not exactly the same, it probably is going to work out to your advantage. But if you have 2 different play styles, it could be chaos. So that could be fun or chaotic depending on your definition of what fun is. One of the other modes that is new that we alluded to earlier is that there is mouse control in this game for Switch 2. And so, of course, you can attach the little attachment for your Joy-Con 2, or you can just set it down and start playing. It's a little quirky because when you first start up the game, you can't use mouse control to select the menu. But if you go into a mode and then you back out of it, you can. Strange. But anyway, so I went into Tetris. I was like, hey, I'm a Tetris player. I'll go into Tetris and I'll try it there. And first of all, you're going to hit your R button and your ZR button to rotate your Tetramino. And then the B button is the hold button. And that is all the buttons that work on your Joy-Con 2 when you're using mouse control. The rest of it is totally by using the mouse. And so you are moving left to right with the mouse. You're moving down with the mouse. There's no way to slam the Tetraminos at all. You're just You move it as quick as you can to get there. The problem with this is I'm not so precise that I can keep it exactly straight when I want it to come down fast. So often I would be trying to slam it down as fast as I can, and I go ever so slightly to the right or left, and then all of a sudden it just messed everything up. Also, every once in a while, I'd be using R to like rotate, but it also held the brick or the block for me. It's like, what? I didn't push the B button. So I don't know if that's just a mishap from my Joy-Con. Maybe it's just malfunctioning, or if there's a glitch in the game. But yeah, I'd say mouse controls are not necessarily I wouldn't classify them as a feature. I would classify them as a challenge. If you want to play Tetris with a new challenge, play with mouse control. However, I will admit that there are people with accessibility issues and they can't use a full controller. They can't use both Joy-Con. And so if they need to play the game with one controller, that is one way to do it. And then you can actually enjoy the game. But for those of us that have the ability to use both of our hands, it's just a huge privilege. I recommend using both of your hands because the mouse control it's not fun. At least wasn't for me.
I feel like this is like the definitive version of the game. And I don't know if they're working on a third game, but if you haven't played it before, I feel like this is the one to get because you get the extra game modes, you get the accessibility features with the mouse that you can mess around with. There's a lot of content there. Now, one thing I did try, I looked online out of curiosity, and I saw that there was an unlock code for the second game to unlock everything. I'm like, oh, I'll unlock everything. That's cool. But it does not seem to work with 2S. They've patched out the unlock code, it seems, because at least I couldn't get it to work. And I'm like, oh man, I wanted to see all those extra hidden characters because there's a lot of characters in this game, including guest characters like Sonic the Hedgehog. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with pretty much everything we were doing. With the online worked really well. Even the game share worked well. With the minor bit of lag, and the gameplay was fun. And the story mode, there's a lot of content in the story mode. I just couldn't stomach anymore, and I feel bad because I had family over while it was playing, so they were kind of listening to it for a while, and eventually I'm just like, I'm skipping this,
No.
because it's just a nonsense story. It almost feels like it's geared towards kids, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just there's like, I don't know, it feels like there must be like 50, 60, 70 levels or something in the story. And if each of them is like 10 minutes worth of cutscene, like that's a lot of extra content to sit through to play just a few rounds of Puyo Puyo Tetris. So keep that in mind. But I thought even the boss battles idea was cool. I think the puzzles, there's different like setups, different challenges. Like there's so many modes in this game that I was very impressed. I expected just more bare bones, but no, this is the complete package.
Yeah. I think there are some quirks that we've definitely outlined. Even online, how you can't just have a general lobby and you have to back out every time, and the mouse controls, could be better. Different things like that. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty solid game. And you're gonna be able to get it for $39.99 on the Nintendo Switch 2 eShop. And just because storage is a minimum for the Switch 2, we also want to point out that it's only 3.2 gigabytes. So not a gigantic game at all, but $39.99. What do you think, Barry? Is it worth it?
I say if you really enjoy Puyo Puyo or you really enjoy Tetris and you did not purchase the game on the Switch or the PlayStation or Xbox or any of the other platforms that it's on, then yes. The answer is yes. I think there's definitely enough content in there. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's one of those games you could always come back to and just play. It's a fun party game because you want to play Tetris competitively. You can play Tetris against each other. There's like the party mode, even for those that like I'm not as good. Well, now you can play the party mode even with kids. Just have them have fun. Like, hi, I made it so you can't see, and then give them joy. So I think there's a lot there. However, if you already own it on those other systems, I don't think there's $40 worth of new content, which is sad because But I'm glad that it's here on the Switch too. I'm glad that they did something extra with it, that they added new content, and they didn't take away anything outside of the unlock code. But yeah, I think there's well more than $40 worth of game in this for sure.
Mhm.
Especially if you have friends, between friends locally, friends with game share, or friends that you can play the online mode with. You have pretty much infinite gameplay. So yeah, then I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right there with you. I think if you own it already, if you own Puyo Puyo Tetris, or you own Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 already, I don't know. Like you said, there's not enough. The new content is not a lot. It's fun, but it's not enough there to warrant another whole game. But yeah, if this is your first time into it, like Barry and me, this is great. Where I'm enjoying it. I do wish there was more people playing online, so I could enjoy playing with random people. But it is fun to play with friends and everything. But yeah, on the other side of things, if you're not a huge fan of Puyo Puyo or Tetris at all, then yeah, this is probably not going to excite you, because this is all it is. It is one game after another and lots of different versions of this game. So if this doesn't excite you, if you don't like puzzle games at all, then probably find another game to spend your money on. But if it doesn't enjoy, if you do enjoy this kind of thing, but and you don't have the game already on another system, yeah, this is a great one. So we want to thank Sega for sending us over these codes to be able to check out the game. Thank you so much for doing that for us. And thanks to all of you guys for tuning in and watching this game chat. If you like this sort of thing, please be sure to subscribe to us here on NintendoFuse on YouTube. And you're going to find our biweekly podcast. You're going to find industry talks. You're going to find gameplay videos and more game chats like this, and everything else that we do here. So be sure to subscribe, and also check out NintendoFuse.com. Follow us on social media, all those things as well. And Barry, thanks for playing this game with me and talking about it today, and we'll see you guys next time.